Okay, so today I want to talk about music. In addition to filming weddings, I've been a musician since I was a kid and made a living doing it, touring and in studio. So music is naturally very, very important to me, and how I select it, and then more importantly, what it does. One of the early videos that I did, I talked about Walter Murch and his criteria for an edit, why he puts one clip next to another. And emotion is the primary driver when he makes an edit. I'd say the same is true for music, because this is the thing that's undergirding all of what we do, and so it needs to feel appropriate and needs to be moving in the direction that we as the storyteller want it to go. I think it's really helpful to have that perspective. The music is in service to the story. Everything that we do is in service to the bigger picture story that we're creating. And so a big part of that is taking inventory of the tone of the footage that you have. If the couple was extremely playful, is very funny, is sarcastic, that's gonna dictate where I go musically versus a couple that's extremely editorial. Maybe there's a lot of really, really heartfelt moments. Obviously, those soundtracks are gonna be very different. In many ways, I think that music kind of serves as a rudder for our storytelling device. It really dictates which direction we're gonna go, and it augments feelings. It can make something feel bigger, it can pull us close, it can be intimate. Music is always in service of the story. It's always in service of the direction that I want to go. I don't ever want to put a song on and feel like the song is going too long or it's taking me somewhere that I don't want to go. I also know that because I intend to move through different pieces of music, I'm never worried about, does this capture the entire tone of the wedding that I'm editing? Figuring out how to transition from one song to the next is an incredibly powerful skill. And there are natural transition moments after speeches or when you want to really highlight a dynamic shift of tone. Another thing that you can do with music is pull it away. This is when the music completely comes back. And that to me makes it feel as if this is more of a film approach where there's music in certain spots to sort of heighten the feeling and the emotion, but then in other times it really strips back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
When you do pull music back in, it feels like there's intention because the music is there to heighten a feeling and heighten an emotion.
You feel free. Jesse, as your dad, it's been great joy for me to see you grow into the amazing young woman that I'm looking at.
And sometimes one of the ways that we really sort of accentuate that is through the dynamic. You don't know what it's like to have quiet if it's always loud. Another usage of music that I find incredibly powerful is the motif. When you watch Jaws or you watch Star Wars, you watch Lord of the Rings, you kind of know what's happening because of the music. And so there's one film in particular, Justine and Joshua, where I used this piece of music.
Loving someone is a reason to stretch beyond our limits, to become more for the sake of the other.
To sort of move into a moment with the bride, and then the groom said some things, and then I came back to the bride and I brought that music back.
Joshua Thomas. I know I've said it dozens of times before, but I truly did not think soulmates existed until I met you.
I find that very intentional, that you would actually bring music back, and it feels like there's an arc, it feels like there are callbacks. Another final usage of music that I found to be very compelling, and this doesn't always work, I filmed enough weddings now where there was music that was performed live that was really good.
I would invite you all to please stand.
What do you want to remember about this?
I want to remember how happy I was.
Now your song is all we need.
Whether it was choral in a church or a family member.
Flowers, you belong in a boat out at sea.
And I think finding ways to incorporate that As a musician, it's helpful because I can go on and figure out what key they were in, and then I can even underscore that. I think that music is one of the best tools that we have in our kit. Music is at your service. I think learning how to transition song to song is a really worthwhile skill to hone in a little bit. Knowing how to pull a song down, maybe let some air, let it breathe, or finding songs in the same key, or also recognizing what it feels like when you use a song that's not in the same key. And there is a brief moment of tension, but that might actually fit the emotional shift that's happening in the edit if you really feel the air of a room change. Hopefully this was helpful and there were a few tidbits that you can take away to use in your next edit. If so, feel free to like, subscribe, share, or don't. And I will see you in the next video.